Good morning. I am in Post Falls, Idaho, and it is the time of the fuel. Let's go. Fuel is done. The fluids are topped off. And the only reason I put that in quotations is because with these new trucks here, the next gen or whatever we're calling them, on the Packard, Kenworth, their deal, there's no such thing as topping off the coolant. There is only getting it almost full and then spilling a bunch of coolant all over wherever you're at. There's no in between. Let's head east. I don't know if you can hear it or not, but I'm still very sick. I hope I don't get you sick too. And that's how germs work. Okay, thank you. Let's go. Spent 9 months inside the lion's den. Don't you lay close to me, by not collapsing.
4 other truck drivers because he was trying to get up to the fuel pump and they were just sitting there playing on their phone or something, so he was honking his horn.
Oh.
And he didn't know that they had like...
What is going on? What is going on? Question. That is a question. What do you mean? Why do I say like it's a question? Dude, I am concerned. I'm concerned about your health and well-being. Are you good? Dude, okay, fine. You talked me out of it. I'm not concerned. No one wants to peep in the early morning hours anymore. It's too bad. Does I have a no tarp load out of Kenya? Oh, that was our New Year's run. We started at the rest area at Coeur d'Alene. Yeah, Post Falls. Yeah, so we did Post Falls, and then yeah, we definitely did make it to Hathaway, and then Monticello. Not really. What is that one called? Some kind of body of water, some kind of creek. Clear water. Yeah. And then we reined in the new year. I took my clothes off. Gosh. And then the next day we made it to next day we had to in Beloit. And then you refused to answer 4 of my phone calls and sent me into a whirlwind of panic. And that's totally fine. What's more important is that after I got done making the right-hand turn in the Brooklyn of New York City, and then after that I somehow managed to get back to Harlem, which is not anywhere close to where I was supposed to be, and I got out of there, and then I went to Ohio, and then that's when I guess this was the end. This was the end for us, because that's when it wasn't over New Year's. Or was it? No, I'm conflating 2 different trips. Did we link back up? Oh, it took us another week or 2 to link back up in Oregon. Because that's when David was like, I have this amazing load where you guys can run together. One of them loads a time zone away from the other, but also on separate days. And it's like, what? And as I was sitting there at the Petro in Gary or Portage, Indiana, I was like doing the math on my fingers, and I was like, no, what? What are you talking about? And then Matt Ellsworth texts us and he says, yeah, are you guys having fun running together? And it's like, can you clickety-clack this $1 million GPS software one time that you install on these stupid trucks? It's like Joe has already literally captured the setting sun. Like, he is in the Pacific time zone. I am leaving Indiana. How did you think this was gonna work? Currently, I am in Butte, Montana, and the reason that I'm in Butte, Montana, walking into the store right now, is because the government, not even really the government, I guess the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration has decided that I do need to take a 13-minute break before I can complete the rest of my drive shift. Coincidentally, my bladder at roughly the same time indicated that we also need to take a break for different reasons, which is to evacuate the contents of my bladder. And God willing, those contents are just urine. Any other contents besides urine in my bladder that need to be evacuated would be indicative of a problem. And I need less of those, not more. Right before I got here to Butte, though, I was on the phone with Joe. You know Joe Sappy there? And I was telling him a story. I was in the middle of telling him a story. And I got 23 minutes into the thing. And then I lost service. And I was frustrated because I never even got to the point of the story. And the point of the story was my neighbor sold my wife's friend a dozen eggs. And what's even crazier about that is that actually was the entire story. It just took me 25 minutes to get there. Because I'm really good at this. Thank you. I'm now going to find the restroom. I am currently 24 minutes into a 13-minute break. And for those of you that are... Sorry, guitar kit. Anyways, for those of you that are mathematicians there, that means that I have just enough time to start doing the thing that I really should have been doing, 2 or 3 minutes into my 30-minute break, which is cooking food. Follow me for more gourmet eating tips. God bless the sexy kitchen robot. So many important updates to go through. First of all, 1 hour and 11 minutes into my 30-minute break. Obviously, I'm very good at this. The old me would incorporate that into a split sleeper, but I am a reborn man. I've been baptized in the ways of the Bob Fleet. We just lost a half hour on this trip, and that's no big deal because we're professionals, I guess. Something like that. Anyways, I made up my drink. I do a drink, but I don't flip it for anyone. I keep this to myself. Maybe I'm just a private person. Would it blow your mind if I were to tell you that the youngest breed of deer, biologically speaking, is the mule deer? As a Western boy, that blows my mind. The whitetail is a much older breed of deer. And it's hypothesized that the mule deer is actually a hybridization between the whitetail and the blacktail deer of the West Coast, like the Columbia blacktail. I've gotten up close and intimate with quite a few Columbia blacktails and mule deer, and the only whitetail deer that I've ever really personally become well acquainted with was one that I hit with my 1996 Subaru Legacy Outback on my way home from the sawmill. It was like 2 a.m. We cut that thing up. He was delicious. And I didn't realize it was a he. It was January, but he'd already shed, which surprised me. It seemed early. But he shed, and when we got him back, we were cutting up there, up the middle like one does. And, yep, it was a he. Simpler times when things like that were so easy to decipher. Anyways, moving on. back to trucking. Oh, 1 hour and 14 minutes now. Sometimes just getting back to work takes me 3 minutes. Hard on the run,
Keep singing.
and on the gun,
Can't
trust it. This is the Hysham rest area eastbound in Montana there. Big sky country, big cloudy sky. And this is my new safe bet. What I mean by that is it's 600 miles almost on the nose from leaving the house. Just like Brigham City used to be my safe bet when I still lived in Central Oregon. Because that was 613 miles and I pretty much always knew I could get there. But today we're going to do a little bit better than this. But I do have to stop here on account of we're still having those old bladder capacity issues. Wow, this is nice. Between the time that I showed you guys the bathroom there at Hysham and now, when I'm pulling out of Hysham, just a few minutes. What I went ahead and did was clickety-clacked on the phone there out of just pure curiosity. Found out that the population density of this county, which is Treasure County, which happens to be the second lowest population total by county in Montana. The population density though is 0.7 persons per square mile. It's fascinating. And then I was realizing that this area here, this Treasure County area of Montana, reminds me an awful lot of a county that I used to spend a lot of time in, which was Modoc County in California. And the similarities are there, maybe not as pronounced to some people, but the population density of Modoc County, where I spent a lot of growing up time, is 2.2 persons per square mile. It's the third least population dense county in California out of 58 counties. And boy, was it nice being able to go out and not see people in the woods. I bet a fella could do that around this country too. But I've seen a lot of these same kind of trees and sort of geological formations that I'm familiar with. Terrain, I guess is what I'm saying. Not really. The geology is way different, but a lot of sagebrush, high desert feel. Yeah, this is nice. It also happens to be very close to a very significant part of Western history, which is some of the Indian Wars. In Modoc County, California, takes its name from the Modoc Indian tribe. It was later relocated to the quote-unquote Indian lands of Oklahoma. At the time, they had a native range up there in southern Oregon, western Nevada, and northeastern California. And there was a pretty significant battle that happened very, very close to where I used to live in Modoc County, and in fact I used to spend some time crawling through some lava caves that were a hiding spot for the last of the Modoc band before they were either killed or shipped off to Oklahoma. Is any of this interesting to any of you? Is this worth talking about? I guess what I'm getting at is that I'm leaving Hysham, Montana now, and we are on our way to a place a little bit further eastward. I have arrived to the hometown of Violet Beauregard from the 1971 classic. Well, really, that's just the film adaptation. I don't remember when the book was written, and I think that's like a Roald Dahl wrote the book. But Charlie and the Chocolate Factory there, starring Gene Wilder, 1971. And in that film there is a girl, and her name is Violet Beauregard. And do you know where she's from? Miles City, Montana, and that's where I am. How would you guys even learn useless information if you didn't watch my videos? Oh, that's right, Google. And they just recently overtook me as far as usefulness on the internet. We duked it out for a long time, but it turns out they're still the reigning champ. I drove 670 miles today. And today's the beginning of a new pay period. So that's 670 for the week and 670 for the day. I am still feeling under the weather. Thanks for asking. And I intend to sleep for as much of this 10-hour mandated rest break as I possibly can, which means that I have to stop talking to you and go to bed. Thanks for hanging in there for this disjointed thing that I put together for your viewing pleasure.